feedback on what makes the most sense, I transitioned to selecting a topic that is near and dear to heart for me just because I work in healthcare. So today I'm going to share with you my research on healthcare case management and an opportunity for leadership to really understand how to address challenges and barriers to adopting big data within the healthcare industry.
Right.
So if this works, there we go. You all know who I am. I hail from Atlanta, Georgia. So have a lot of fun. The table of contents, like everybody has from the template, we're going to look at the management problem. We're going to really provide insights on the scoping literature review, what I did to identify the right evidence for this research, and then talk about the theoretical framework that I chose to use. I'll go into the method. We'll take a glance at the analysis and findings, and then lastly, what are the conclusions and implications for management? So this is the industry problem. Healthcare costs are increasing. Healthcare costs are increasing. It's no surprise that our healthcare premiums continue to increase, and that's a result of what's going on within the industry. There's also an emerging trend around big data, and big data being used in other industries, not so much in healthcare, but there is an opportunity that has been realized where big data is being used to help reduce costs, to improve member experience. And while there is work and progress that has been made in healthcare, we're still lagging behind. We're not where we could be. And this work really talks to what's the opportunity for the healthcare industry and what is the opportunity for us to really improve the experience, specifically focused on case management. I'm going to take a little bit of time to just really define case management at this point. You know, case management, care management, they're used interchangeably sometimes. I'd like to propose here that care management is really where you have healthcare professionals, so you have nurses, you have doctors. They're really healthcare professionals. When you start thinking about case management, it's going beyond just the healthcare professionals, but you're looking at social workers, you're looking at social determinants of health, you're looking at a bigger picture than just care management. So when we're thinking about case management in this particular lens, we're looking at the totality of managing members' health, their mental health status. And so that's the theme around which case management will be used throughout this dissertation. What was the purpose of the study? The purpose is that healthcare, sometimes you get blamed, one party gets blamed as being the influencer. In this particular case, we're looking at all the multiple players, and we're looking at this problem as requiring a collaborative approach to addressing the problem. The other part also is that the combination of the rising costs, the opportunities that I just mentioned, they create a compelling reason for research around this space. So I'll question the barriers and facilitators of big data. Like anything else, you really have to think through, how do you get the right information? So coming into this, you can get bogged down with too much information. So we really look at identifying the scope, what we're looking at, and the limitations. From a scope perspective, healthcare costs are rising more so in the United States than anywhere else in the world. So we wanted to look at literature that represented the United States. We also realized that big data being a new phenomena, there wasn't much information on it before 2014. So it was important for us to really look at understanding what has been done after 2014, and then the mixed type of information. Excluded was international type of literature, stuff before 2014, and because I was looking at healthcare, I didn't really look at other industries like military or insurance company where you have case management as well. And obviously, because you have a scope, you have some limitations that were not included as part of this. The part that I think I want to share is that these three words, and you'll see them coming up in my search string, were specific to what I was trying to address. And had we exposed and opened the scope, would have had much more literature. But because I wanted to be very specific on case management, I did draw that boundary around what I would like to focus in on. And also, we could have done a whole bunch of research, but there's also that conceptual saturation where enough is enough. So we really looked at just the UMUC library. I'll talk later on to the database that I focused in on, but looking at the UMUC library as well as Google search, and like anything else, you know, sample size is always a key indicator as to do you have a high level of confidence. In this particular case, we had 47 articles, and there was a mix. So those are some of the limitations that were experienced through this work. As I mentioned earlier on, how you do your work in terms of scoping of your literature, what evidence you find, as well as the theoretical framework is what I'll be transitioning to right now. So I think I mentioned there's the big data part, which is evolving. We talked about 2014, and here you'll see that through a study that I did, 2014 is when you start really seeing an increase in publications. Case management has been around for a long time, especially in healthcare, since 1980s. So I found more material on case management specifically. And then with healthcare, I looked at those three definitions. Oh, okay, where is going on here? Okay. I looked at my big data, case management, and the healthcare, and the combination of those is what helped me find the relevant materials. What was important as well that isn't here is, as I was looking at the peer-reviewed articles, the advice that Dr. Brecken gave us around subject matter experts was something that I'll weigh in later on, but that allowed me to also think about the pragmatic aspects of the work that I was doing. So the literature landscape also included subject matter experts that were pulled in to provide the pragmatic aspects. From a theoretical lens, this was an interesting one for the research question. When I started the research, I actually leaned more on using the scientific management theory by Freda. And I realized that that might not fit as well. So I thought, well, maybe Henry Fowler's administrative theory might be something that gives me more insight. Looked at that, but I still wasn't comfortable with that. And then I also looked at Deming's total quality management. So those are the three theories that I looked at, aside from the active network theory. Those three did feel to bring to me the science